Realized it too. Holy crap. Built on the side of a hill. It's not that dramatic though, at least. Alaska Raven, for sure. Well, after sitting here on numerous times, I looked up, and then I discovered that it was actually this. Collective conscious.
¿Y quién podrá soportar que hable todo el día de ti, de lo que vivimos? ¿Cómo haré para guardar mi tristeza y no pensar que te necesito? Y en la habitación se nos escucharán esos gritos de placer, y en nuestro baño no entrará.
She told me that they dig tunnels through, It's better to trust yourself and your own observations than the authorities. I just want... Collective conscious energy is currently shit, but we're working on it. And you can help by thinking good things, inhaling, and then exhaling. That's pretty good. For everybody, too. How about that? Well, it's the second time in my life that I've had a tsunami watch warning. Watch warning! Yeah. Here in Anchorage, and we just had this alert go through. It was a premium earthquake in Russia. So, we're going to have this go through, and we're just here seeing what happens. The major part of the danger, if I may say, is been canceled. So, they canceled the danger. For now, as far as that goes. But we're going to get a wave. We'll see what goes up the Cook Inlet here. If you guys know about the Cook Inlet, it's quite the letting in of all the water from the Yeah, so that's where we're at. So, well, the rose came back and the sparkly scarf is around my neck now.
Now let's take a look at the Global Consciousness Monitor today. It's quite interesting. Today is characterized by a general apathy. We did have a brief highlight here where things were very intense, but here we see a distraction, a disorganization that is recorded by the consciousness monitor. And there is no unity there, there is no focal point. Too much news, too much information overload, too many different topics that people are dealing with, lead to such deep-seated consciousness, so to speak. The collective field has not been centered for days, as you can see here. It is very low below. If the centering were to increase, then we would be in areas where we go beyond these red lines, and when it goes into the lower red lines, yes, that is already a zombie consciousness, there is not much left. And despite the physically strong influences of Schumann and Ringstrom, there is no inner integration. So, that means there is more of an escape movement from consciousness. These are, mental dissociation or repression processes, which do not exist in the individual, but on a global level, and which basically also lead to the status quo that we have now, which can be seen very nicely on the consciousness monitor today. So, that brings us to the atmospheric charge, which is adventurous. Yes, especially from 10 p.m. onwards, there were extreme charges and spikes that went over 0.5 M volts, so that's 100 to 200 times that, sometimes even up to 1 M.
This is the important information I've been wanting to share.
6 a.m. This creates an incredible amount of inner restlessness. This is also a situation that we have there due to the high energies in these spikes. Yes, if I have compressed too many charges on top of each other, then these spikes shoot out again and again as a discharge reaction. Yes, the whole thing went on until about 12 o'clock, and then the charge released small discharges here before it went into a downturn shortly before 1 p.m. and of course, this now brings severe fatigue, parasympathetic impulses and also very, very strong detoxification with persistent strong pricks, which can always be very nervous and possibly also pent-up emotions that can be released or in such phases. And of course, detoxification also needs to be supported, because it is very, very strong due to the strong charges. And with that, let's take a look at this second station, which is the ground, which is also somewhat more relevant to us, and it looks terrible. I mean, the movement pattern is almost the same as yesterday. Yes, but what's new are these persistent pricks that started yesterday and have continued into the night, sometimes over 2 MVT. So, we're already at 1,000 to 1,500 times the background noise. That's clearly too much, and the impulses that affect the nervous system are clearly too strong. You could say that we have a high atmospheric charge in resonant silence, and that's a dangerous state, because the body is charged, but without any conduction. That means maximum irritation with a simultaneous lack of regulation. There's a risk of vegetative exhaustion, psychosomatic tension and emotional dissociation. Yes, these are also the things that we've seen before. They keep coming together and are also reflected in the consciousness monitor, among other things, and there we have a similar pattern. It goes steeply uphill until 7 a.m. and then there is already a stagnation, if you will. But it goes down relatively early and it's a roller coaster ride, because there are different movement patterns in the course of the charge and, as I said, increasingly stronger charges are currently causing physical disharmony again this afternoon. Heart issues can also occur with the
Okay, so we're looking back at the information of today, but since this information comes from, I'm not sure yet, it's not, when I get it, it's not in English, and I put it into a translator, and he hasn't exactly said where it's coming from. I could probably figure it out, but I think it's somewhere between France and, like, Switzerland. So potentially as these come out, they're in the future for us. But I don't know if the location relative, it's global collective consciousness, so it's not local.
That means maximum irritation with a simultaneous lack of regulation.
Number 13.
This again depends on the living environment you move in. So today again very, very strong energies during a superficial night, which probably gave rise to very intense dreams with these charges, which come from the alpha range. These are not visions, this is brain junk that is fermented here and shown in dream images. The body wants to sleep. The only thing that is still awake is the brain and the heart. And these are then amplified here by sympathetic impulses. And of course, that is the worst possible condition for being able to sleep with an elevated heart and brain frequency. You can work well, study and whatever else, but it is completely unsuitable for sleeping. Yes, and then in the morning you also have these massive pixels that come with it. That makes it impossible to work in a center coping with chaotic conditions, which is currently continuing. So, we can currently take our journeyman or master craftsman exams, provided we are willing to take these exams. Yes, my friends, and that brings me to the end of today's energy news. The dog fits in quite well. If you are a bit unusual here, then you can definitely find yourself in very difficult situations today, in confrontations with the outside world. This is this pent-up energy that simply does not want to be released and, it is also showing up here today in point number 1, namely a neuroelectrical stimulus overload.
If you find any of this agreeable or helpful, and moving on. Oh, here's that YouTube.
They drown?
千葉県館山市の映像でした。海に
What the fuck?
Whales be washing up. Number 13. Day, July 30th. 7:22 a.m. Anchorage, Alaska. Pretty good. Pretty good guy. That great spirits filler. I think it likes it when I make these videos, and that's how we chat. Reality. You and I. Ka-ching! With the big stick. I guess so. In my opinion, even looking at anything that AI generates for a moment gives me a terrible feeling inside of myself that reminds me of what it feels like to be in a nightmare. So, if you send me anything like that, just don't. And don't be surprised if I won't look at it either. Why should I? It seems to bring out the darker and demented aspects of life, and also reminds me of the feeling I imagined I'd get if I was looking in the mirror and the image in the mirror started doing something that I wasn't doing. So in my opinion, it might just be the image in the mirror demented trying to creep into your reality and make it a little bit more dark and dripping and worrisome and nightmarish. Because I haven't seen it do anything else yet, have you? Of course, it has many pleasant and helpful aspects too. For fun, posting this text. For fun,